ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. Hey, Roundtable family, welcome to the Roundtable. My name is Robert Bannon. You're listening to us on the Broadway Podcast Network, or you're watching us on social media. I'm so excited that you're here. You know, one of our favorite things to do is talk about new musicals, and there is a brand new musical coming to 154 Christopher Street on October 18th to November 11th. James Harvey is busy because he wrote the book, he wrote the music, and he wrote the lyrics. It's Kafkaesque. I think maybe I said it right, maybe I said it wrong, but we're going to find out from James right now. James.
Hey, Robert.
How did I do pronouncing it?
You were good. It's Kafkaesque.
Kafkaesque. How did this idea come to? What is it about?
What is it about? Well, it takes a bunch of stories by Franz Kafka and mashes them up into one bigger story set in modern day America among one nuclear family. So, they have the young adult incel son, and he wakes up as a bug one morning, like in Kafka's The Metamorphosis. And you have the teenage daughter. She live streams herself starving to death on Twitch. And let's see, the mom of the family, she's mysteriously canceled and put on a strange Baroque trial. So, typical musical theater fare.
Exactly. Typical musical theater fare that you can get tickets to and you can go see for sure. You can get tickets and you're running. Why was it important? I'm so flustered by you, James, and this whole subject matter. You had an theater festival. You premiered this show. You hope amongst the hundreds of original shows and scores that get put out in the world that you get a home and a place and somebody to give you lots of money, James, to put a show up. What was it like to put it out for the public? And then when you heard it was going to have this run?
It's crazy. I never thought this would happen, and I still don't believe that it's going to happen. I've been writing musicals forever and trying to get them produced, and I had basically given up and told myself I should quit when I had the idea for this show. And I just couldn't stop writing it. It just kind of poured out of me very quickly. And I was just trying to make myself laugh. I was just cackling alone at my desk by myself, typing this thing out and playing the songs. And then I just, I got together a bunch of friends who are musical theater actors or comedians and just put up the show at a kind of crappy theater festival. I didn't care. I just wanted to make myself and my friends laugh. And somehow it caught on, much to my surprise.
Are you starring in this, James?
I'm also starring in it. Yes, I play Franz Kafka, and I accompany the show on the piano. You're in shock.
If it's a podcast, that was not fun, but there's literally dead air. You play the piano.
Jaw drop.
You play the piano. You star as you are acting.
That's right.
Singing,
yes.
And
a little bit of dancing. I've been working on my step touches.
And you wrote the book and the lyrics and the music. How long have you been working on this?
I really wrote it incredibly quickly. I wrote it in 3 months initially. And as I said, it was just so fast. I would just have all these light bulbs popping off and I couldn't type fast enough. And then I put it up in October of last year, and a great producer, Patrick Tredenaro, came and got the ball rolling. It's been super fast, and we've had the opportunity to do a few more performances in different venues, comedy clubs and bars, and the show's always being rewritten. So it's continued to evolve since that initial 3-month inspiration.
Well, I want people to know that tickets are on sale. You can go to Ovation Tix. The 154 Christopher Street was the new Ohio theater. So if you're a theater-nista and you've been downtown where all the cool kids hang out and write musicals, then you know exactly where this show is taking place. So I want you to be able to get tickets because it's October 18th to the 11th, and you have an opening night Monday, the 21st. Are you nervous? How do you feel about it all, James Harvey?
How do I feel about it? I'm just trying to enjoy it and keep that same spirit alive that I created it in, just of having fun and focusing on making something good and not worrying about any external expectations. Will it transfer? Will it go uptown?
Absolutely. You're just going to enjoy the moment. You have an incredible director and a cast. So
Yes.
what's it like to be in rehearsal and be working with these incredible team that's around you?
It's so great. We had our first rehearsal last night, and as I was saying before, everyone in the cast, they're obviously great singers and actors, but they're also they come from a comedy background. Each one of them, they're either stand-ups or writers or musical improvisers. So it's just such a dynamic process, and I want it to be a room where the best idea always wins. I want people to be pitching jokes constantly. It's a very joke dense show. And, we're all like sort of rewriting it together. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm the main writer, but it's continuing to evolve with this amazingly creative and brilliant cast.
But you have subject matters that don't always lend to the joke. So how you have some really deep, fun subject matters. You write in the press release, or you didn't write, someone wrote that he never intended to be an adjective. You adjectivized is that a word? I don't know his name. So how do you handle such delicate topics with humor and all that fun? Maybe you don't, James.
Yeah, that's such a great question. I mean, I think in some ways it pushes buttons and it's a little boundary pushing, and people who have seen it have been surprised by some of the things that we get away with, and I think that just comes from me creating and not thinking it would ever go anywhere. So I was just like, I don't care. I'm not going to try to not offend anybody, but not that it's it's not super provocative or upsetting, but it does handle these dark issues in a funny way, which is inherent to Kafka. I mean, he writes about suicide and eating disorders and murder and everything under the sun, but it's really funny. He is a really funny writer, which gets lost sometimes. So I think I'm just kind of bringing that out.
What if we don't know about him? What do we have to do like a Wikipedia?
No, this show, I mean, if you know Kafka, you'll love it and you'll appreciate all the little Easter eggs. But if you've never heard of Franz Kafka, if you don't know how to pronounce his name, if you've never read a book, that's great. You're welcome, and you're not going to miss a thing.
James, see, if you've never read a book, period, then
Yes.
you're playing to my Jersey audience.
You don't even need to know how to read.
Amazing. My family can go then. That's
great.
So, so he and his idea, are you someone who studied him? Are you someone who was just like on the subway and you thought like, hey, I want to write music about him?
I'm not a scholar of Kafka, and I'm always afraid people are going to like grill me on biographical details of him that I'll get wrong. But I, read a lot of his stuff a few years ago, and he had one story that really always stuck with me called A Hunger Artist. And it's about a performer, and he sits in a cage at the circus, not eating. And people love it. They pay to watch him not eat, and that's his art. And after a while, the public interest in starving kind of drops off, and people stop caring. But he has to keep not eating because this is his artistic calling, even if nobody's interested. So that story always really stuck with me as a struggling writer. That feeling that no one understands what you're doing and everyone hates you, but you got to keep grinding and doing it. At least that's my interpretation of
I'm
the
excited
story.
for you. I'm so excited for you. It's going to be an epic moment.
It's going to be a blast.
Do you intend for other people to kind of find this is going to start and the word's going to spread out and you're just going to take this baby and run? That's what I'm hoping.
That's certainly. Oh, where'd you go?
James, is that we edited this, everyone, because I ghosted James like a bad Tinder date. And I thought
maybe the interview wasn't going well and you just X'd out and ghosted me.
James Harvey, that's it. I'm canceled. I don't no, what I was saying to you before we were rudely interrupted by this Midwestern storm is that it's got to be hard to spend time and put your body of work in your lyrics and your story and your acting and singing and then let it go. So how do you get out of how do you get up there and do the show every night and just let it be what it's going to be?
That is such a tough question. I mean, we've yet to do a long run. This will be the first long run, so I'm really curious to see what that will be like. But something that's fun about the show is that it's very topical, and there are spots in the show that change often. I have a feeling that things are going to change every night. during this production, so that'll help keep us present. But I'm curious to see. I mean, as a performer, I come more from like a comedy background. I perform more as a musical comedian, and you're not so much doing the same material night after night. So I'm excited to see what that is like as an actor.
Oh, I'm excited to see what that's like as an actor. Definitely as well. I am super excited to hear and what it's going to be like and the audience's reaction. I'm from Prague. My family
Oh, okay.
my family is from Prague, and when you hear about him talking about guilt and I'm like, oh, then he knew my family too.
Hmm.
I think there's universal themes in this show. What do you hope people go in and come out learning? What is your goal besides making us laugh?
Yeah, well, you alluded to earlier the fact that it's very dark, and you were wondering how I turned this dark subject matter into comedy. And I think it's not really a spoiler, but on a story level, the ending is pretty bleak, and yet audiences always leave in a great mood somehow. And I hope what this show does is empower people to just laugh at how horrible the world and existing is.
I
And
think
I think there's a lot of freedom and value in that.
100%. I agree with you on that for sure. And it's as timely as ever because some of the things he's talking about we are struggling with more than ever, and we need to laugh at some of these things because otherwise there's a lot of things to not laugh about.
And Kafka's really having a moment. He's somehow caught on with Gen Z. He's like kind of a TikTok heartthrob. And it's for that reason. I mean, he was so keyed into these feelings of alienation, which were bubbling under the surface in the time in which he lived, but they've really become very present right now.
Yeah, and we all left out of the pandemic. We all are dealing with social media. We all are dealing with relationships and how the world is about all of those things. So we all have those things that are going. Your press agent is calling because she's worried that I
Oh,
left you in the
yes.
and
Dear,
that
dear
I love
Louisa.
I love Louisa. Everybody at Press Room NYC, they're the best people to run a show, James. They're the people that are going to get this word out like nobody's business.
They are great.
They're great. So he's kind of ahead of his time. So now he kind of meets this moment, and you get to be the person that tells the story.
That's right. And I personally relate to him in a lot of ways. My family also largely comes from that area, also Jews from Prague, um, both neurotic writers with some daddy issues. So I really feel a very strong connection to this man.
So this is the show for you if you relate to any of that, which I think is pretty much the entire world. And we want to get tickets and we can see the show. And what I love about this theater and what you're doing there is that it gives original musicals a place to live because we are done. We don't need to see movies that are remade over and over again into musicals. And it's affordable. So you can find a date or find a friend or go by yourself. You don't have to mortgage your house to come see you, James.
It's true. I mean, I feel like off Broadway is where everything's happening right now.
Absolutely. I say that's where all the cool artists are. That's where you want to see something new and original in a piece of work. When you cast this show, do you have a hand in the cast, or did you step away from the casting of who else gets to be in it?
I got to handpick all of them. I mean, a lot of them are people I've worked with before. Some of the roles I wrote with these people in mind, and then I would, get recommendations from them for who to cast for the other roles. And for the first festival production that we did, I really put not that much effort into it. So like someone would recommend someone for a part, and I would say, yeah, I'm sure they're great. Let's ask them. And then they really did turn out to be fantastic.
Can you tell us a little bit about the cast?
Sure, we have Emily Olcott. She plays the mother of the family. She is a wonderful singer, comedian. Alexandra Nader plays the hunger artist, the teen daughter. Those two women are from the Story Pirates, which is a big improv media company basically for children, but it's huge. It's huge. Like I don't know how many 6-year-olds but Story Pirates is a massive deal. We have Josh Nasser. He plays the dad. He's an incredible stand-up comedian. And Curry Whitmore playing Gregor, the young adult son who turns into a cockroach. And he is a musical improviser performing at the Magnet and UCB, and he's hilarious.
So you're giving people a cast that is able to do what you're asking people to do, and it's not super easy to be funny and sing and play piano and tell a story like this. So there's a certain type of actor out there, and you seem to have found the needle in the haystack.
Yeah, I don't think this show would work just, casting cookie cutter musical theater BA people. You have to have like true comedic instincts for
When
this
you
thing to work.
Absolutely, when you've worked in many other and a lot of people who have been on this show, like Alan Cummings or Larry Owens,
Mm-hmm.
and you have
Mm-hmm.
done your one. Me and Larry Owens did a production of Music Man in Connecticut that got shut down, which is a story for another time.
Related to COVID or shut down for other reasons?
Like apparently you can't reorchestrate it and take songs out and make Shapoopy, which was Larry's number, into a disco anthem.
Okay.
But it was a summer, and it was so
And that must have been. I mean, I love the feeling when plans get canceled. So it must have been an amazing feeling.
It was an amazing feeling, and
I wish I could have experienced that.
I'll tell you, it was a rough summer, and he will say it was great. But
Okay.
and it may be both.
And then they did change Shapoopy for the recent revival, but I don't think it was a disco version.
With a karaoke machine, and Larry can do a mean cartwheel.
Really?
Yes, he can.
Oh, I'll have to ask him to do one for me.
Please ask him. So your show's like the bald-faced truth,
Mm-hmm.
and the work that you've done in different with different companies and music workshops and all of the stuff that you've done. Has it always been the goal to put a full-fledged musical together? This is not just a one-man show or you doing comedy. Like this is a production.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was always a huge musical theater nerd, and that was the dream, is to write musicals, but it's really fucking hard to get them produced. So I just wanted more instant gratification, and I ended up performing these solo shows as a musical comedian, and then that got me involved with this downtown comedy and music scene in New York, populated by people like Larry and Catherine Cohen and Bone Yang, and I worked with all of them, and I played for musical improv shows, and I would write music for stand-up comedians to be part of their sets. So I had sort of these, twin careers working in comedy and theater, and then I feel like this show synthesizes the two of them. It kind of has a very novel form because I host the show as Franz Kafka, and my relationship to the audience is very much like a stand-up comedian, and I'm breaking the fourth wall and performing some songs that are outside of the plot, and that interweaves with the more traditional book musical as we follow this family. So it's all come together in Kafkaesque.
I'm here for the whole experience. I'm excited to hear about the whole experience. I hope people go to your website. They could go to jamesharvey.com and you could get a taste of some of his music and his YouTube videos and what he's done in the past. We could follow you on Instagram. The link will be below, and we will be getting our tickets. What is the best place for us to go to get information about the show and buy our tickets?
Kafkashow.com.
Kafkashow.com. How simple is that?
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. The work that you are doing and with the people that you've worked with and now stepping into this show and having this, I hope it's the first of many. I congratulate you because we need original voices that make us laugh. And I'm really looking forward to coming down and checking it out.
Thank you. I can't wait to see you there. And thank you so much for having me on your show.
Are you kidding? My show is your show anytime. I hope there's a lot more shows. Kafkaesque is coming off. I'm learning. I'm so scared. Do you hear the trepidation? It's there. You got to check it out. It's going to be coming October through November, and you could get your tickets, and we'll be following James because before James is a big giant star and he's hanging out with, the likes of, I don't know, the Pope and
Lin-Manuel Miranda,
which are the same person. Then you want to jump in and get your tickets now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Robert. Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a great one.